Hey everyone, this is Anna here, and today I wanted to make a video with my test style results, they're mostly Speedball glaze results from my sample pack that I showed, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I think. I was excited to try as I never used Speedball glazes before. So these are brand new to me and I have some very interesting results. Also, I have some pieces that I finished from my monoprinting tutorial. If you've missed it, you can go under my lives. I do a live tutorial, live with Anna tutorials every week, every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so they were very interesting, and I can't wait to show you. Also, I have results from my Kiwi Underglazes, which I love. And you're gonna see why, and we're gonna talk about it. So I'm excited to show you. So let's just dive in. Okay, so these were the test styles that I have, which is not that many, but from here to here these are the Speedball glazes. They're brand new. Well, these are all new, but these are Speedball. Um, this is Mayco right here, and Laguna, and some other random one, Coyote and Laguna. So I just wanted to test. I have 3 clay bodies here that I'm going to show you and tell them exactly what they are. But let's do just the one-offs first that I just wanted to try on this clay body that I'll be using because I really like this clay. It's B-Mix, speckled B-Mix. It's an excellent clay with nice results like for glazes, and also I love the color because it's not as dark as the standard 112 that I was used to throwing with that has the speckles, because that one is darker. This one is a light, very light buff, almost like a creamy color with the specks, as you can see here. So I wanted to try the Fairy Rose and Power Turquoise. I love the Power Turquoise, how it looked. The Fairy Rose is nice too, but it made the speckles, I don't know. I just don't know what to make of it. Like the specks got really dark underneath. I think it takes away from the pretty pink color that is Fairy Rose. And also it's not as shiny for some reason. Maybe I didn't fire as hot. My peak temperature was 180 Fahrenheit. So with the slow cool. And then on the back, I added Bots Plus, which is a flux glaze. And he did some interesting things. I did like what he did here because he covered the specks in here, but it became like a real nice pink. And this one, maybe not so much. It became like gray, the color on the back. So anyways, these were the one-offs that I wanted to test. Um, these are brand new, never used these before. Laguna Seagrass. And what I have here is Aardvark Terra Red right here, the B-Mix, speckled B-Mix, and Porcelain Frost. So those are the 3 clay bodies that I'm using all across here. So, and you can see the drastic difference between all the 3 clay bodies. This is a great example on how the different clay bodies, as you try different glazes, how the same glaze can look so different on depending on the clay body that you use. So this one on porcelain, it became more like the greenish. It does really look like seagrass color. It's very pretty. I do like that color on porcelain, but the winner here is this one here. Oh my goodness. I don't know if the video is doing it justice, because it is just, when I saw this test style coming out of the kiln, I was like, I didn't even know what glaze it was because it was so different. And I'm in love with this. So I would definitely be using it more. not so much on the dark clay body, on the Terra Red. So, and then on the back, I have again with the Bots Plus, which didn't do much in here. But you see on other tiles how it changed. So the Bots Plus, the flux, as you guys know, can really change on certain glazes, and then on other glazes just doesn't do anything. So, but this is the winner right here for me so far. Um, the next is um, Sand and Sea. I've never used these before. I was quite pleased to see that it does work well on the red clay. It looks like a nice sage green, but it is kind of satin, which I didn't know. I thought was more glossy. It is like a satin finish. It looks very pretty here too. So it's nice. It's a nice, for me. It's a nice change of colors, because I definitely like the more brighter colors, but this one is more subdued, I guess. And then on the back, that was a nice surprise to see. Look at this aqua color on the back, just with the Bots Plus. So that's on the porcelain. Look how pretty. And I just did like a little dab of Bots Plus on the very top just to see what it would do. And to my surprise, look at the difference. It became very glossy and nice aqua color. Same thing here with the speckled clay. And then on the red clay, I got a little blister right there. So I don't know if this glaze is maybe prone to have some issues. I don't know. I haven't used this, so I can't tell. It could be just on this clay body. But it looks very nice, the glaze. So now the new glazes. So this one is called Natural Opal. And again, you can see the difference on the three clay bodies. Look at this one on the Terra Red. I don't know if you can see how it is kind of bluish color, almost like a floating blue. Maybe it's not showing, maybe it's not coming through on the video, but it is very nice on the dark clay. On the porcelain, I got some shades of pink on the very top here. Now on the back, what I did is I used a combination instead of Bots Plus, because Bots Plus is just white flux. I didn't want to use it on the Opal because I knew it wouldn't do much. So I did the Prisma green over natural Opal, and look how beautiful. I love this. It became pinkish color on the top, and then that nice aqua color. Now on this one, I did Galaxy Mist over Natural Opal. I got some nice blues, runny. Then on the Terra Red is Dragon's Eye over the Natural Opal. So I got the blue kind of running through. So it's also a nice one. But it's very glossy, no issues here, no pinholing or anything. So that's nice too. I think I'll be using that. Lemon Drop. You can see the difference on all three clay bodies. So it is a very dry glaze. Kind of satiny, but more dry, I'd say. It's not, I don't know. I tend to like the more satin feel. Again, maybe this glaze likes a little hotter than what I did, so I have to test it a little bit more. But it is a nice light yellow. On the back, I did use Bots Plus. And it became, on this one, on the porcelain, it became like a very nice glossy iridescent. And maybe you can't see it, but it is a nice light yellow in here. Very pretty glossy here. I think I see both. I only put a little bit on the top of the Bots Plus. And I wasn't too crazy on the dark clay. It's still okay, but so maybe it does different things depending on the glaze that you use for like a combination. So I'll have to test it a little more. Another one that is very unique to me, the look of it, is this is Galaxy Mist. I mean, look at on the porcelain. It has like, it is like, oh, what's that other glaze? I think, is it Mayco or Amico that has a glaze that does that, like ox blood, I think it's called. It's almost that kind of the same effect where it shows a little red on underneath and some green. These looks like little jewels of green poking out from the glaze, almost like a nice aqua teal coming through. And look how different it is on the dark clay. And then on the back, that really surprised me. I mean, look at this. Can you guys see that purple that became like a nice blue, red, purple, blue here on the bottom with some aqua? This is all from the Bots Plus over, yeah, over Galaxy Mist. Same thing on the speckled B-Mix. Same thing here. They're all a little different, but oh my goodness, it's like I was so surprised with these results. So I need to use this on on a mug, only from one glaze. Well, actually, here's two: the Bots Plus and the Galaxy Mist. But you get a nice effect with this. So very interesting. The one that I wasn't too crazy about was this one here, is Blue Flame. On these two clay bodies, the speckled and the dark terra red, it didn't do, it looks kind of brownish. But on this one looks better. It looks more like a purple, has more purple hues. So Blue Flame on porcelain looked the best, but it's not my color. But look at the back. Well, this one, it crawled because it got too fluid. So I'm glad I have this little foot here that it caught all the glaze that dripped over here on the, but look at that color, that blue aqua color from the Bots Plus. Then same thing here, became very drippy. You can see the thicker drip here on the bottom. Same thing here, but I had some pinhole in here on the dark clay. So maybe I have to be careful with the dark clay. Not all clay, not all glazes work with the dark clays, but very interesting results. I'm saving the best for last here. I love this blue. This one is called Dragon's Eye. But look at this blue. Maybe the video doesn't do it justice, but in person is beautiful. It shows like the shine. It's almost like that Laguna robin's egg has that shine to it that is it's so shiny and iridescent. Very pretty. And I love how it shows also on the dark red clay. It breaks brown, so that is a plus. And on the porcelain is beautiful too. Now on the back, I added the Bots Plus, didn't do much, didn't change. In fact, it became some, it has some darker spots on the back. I don't know why, and this is porcelain, so it reacted with, the Bots Plus reacted with the blue with some darker spots. I don't know why. So I would say I wouldn't use Bots Plus on these, but just the blue glaze on its own is very pretty. So more tests coming up with these. Oh my gosh, these ones. I mean, this was my personal favorite of all the glazes that I got, all the on the sample pack. This is Prism Green, but look at the color. So it is like a real nice teal, and you can see some undertones of purple underneath, almost like a blue purple peeking through, and it has the iridescent sheen to it also. And it looks good on all three clay bodies. Look at that. And on the back, didn't do much using Bots Plus. Just became more runny. So this one shows a little bit more of the purple here on the top. But by itself, it is beautiful. Look at that on porcelain. I just can't get over how pretty these are. This glaze, again, Prism Green it's called. My very favorite. So now let's talk about the Kiwi Underglazes. This mug I posted on everywhere, I guess, and I tagged Kiwi because I was just speechless when I pulled these out of the kiln. The colors on these frog mug, I'm blown away. So I was going for the watercolor look, and I think I got that. I achieved that look. Inside, I decided to do sunrise, spectrum sunrise. And here I had dipped my whole mug on Kitten's Clear, which is a great clear glaze to go over underglazes because it's zinc free. You can also use HF9. Mayco HF9 is also a good one for underglazes. But the colors on these, and I had to create new colors because I didn't have all of them. Like I had to make brown by mixing, I don't know if I mixed green and purple. I can't remember now how I did it. I might have it on my video, but I made brown and a darker, almost like a taupe color for the frog, some of the brown. He's usually, this is an Amazon milk frog. They are like a light turquoise color. And then they have some stripes, some real interesting markings, and also their eyes are very unusual. So I looked at a picture and I tried to use the markings from the frog that I saw. And I think I got exactly the colors I wanted, mixing the underglazes. And then here on these little flowers, these are all just done by hand with porcelain. I did get some real nice pink shades, like on that flower there. It almost matches exactly the sunrise. All the glazes on porcelain, I know they're brighter anyways, including the glazes. The underglazes and the glazes will look brighter on porcelain. So this is Porcelain Frost, which is my favorite. I have a video on how I throw, where I give you all my tips and tricks on how I throw my mugs in order to be successful and not have any cracks, on the bottom, no ass cracks, no surface cracks or anything like that. So I'm very happy with how these turned out. I did use a sponge. I did a time-lapse video using a sponge at first to do like a background color, and then I did with a brush. And I believe I do have the actual video where I can post it as a tutorial, because I know I've had some requests of people asking me how I paint and how I layer and blend my colors. So maybe I will post that video showing how I do this, how I painted this frog mug. But it turned out really, really nice. I'm so happy with Kiwi Underglazes. So now let's get to the monoprinting. So here are some of the test results, and they all look great. The colors are spectacular. These are, I'll talk about it. Just get some of my other. These are the other tests that I did. Like there is a progression, and I'll go over that. So first I did some tests, just like a round piece, just to see how it would transfer. And I did post the recipe for the slip. I did had some questions from people messaged me about the slip. Um, so the ones I use, you do have to mix it. I don't know if you can. I know you can make a slip just using the same clay that you use sometimes, but in this case, because the clay is dark, is a terra red, usually is what you want to use, something darker or terracotta, because you want to give that nice contrast with the slip. I'm not sure if you can use like a light color clay slip. Just if you do that and try it, make sure the clay that you're using for white slip is the same shrinkage rate as the clay that you're going to do the monoprinting. So I colored the slip. So the slip is white, which I have more here. And I might do a test just using the white background, but I wanted the blue, light blue background. So I just added 2% of turquoise mason stain to give the blue. In fact, here I think I use less, and then on the plates I use more. Um, Maybe I use a little less than 2% in here. Anyways, this was my first one, and you guys might have seen that on the video. Uh, Actually, no, I lied. This one was the first one. So what happened here, it smeared because the slip wasn't quite dry. It was still very shiny. You're not supposed to put it on the clay until it loses all the shine. So I put it on, it was too wet. And then when you try to roll or use your rib, and then the clay just kind of smears the slip. So that's why you see all the smeared areas here. Then I did this one a little bit better. You know, you can see more of my outline. Then I decided to do a little, I put the little feet on these little dish. Could be a jewelry dish or something, you know. So on all these, actually these 4 pieces right here, not that one, I dipped it on my Kitten's Clear. And what happened is Kitten's Clear is not a good clear glaze to, it's not a good fit for these, for this technique. So it's, I don't know if you can, guys can see it. I did get some bubble. It didn't open. It's not like rough or anything, but it bubbled under the slip. And I think it's just not a good fit. This one, not so much, but even on the tray here, I did get some bubble showing up here. Also, when I transferred, you're supposed to use the roller after you pull your paper. You're supposed to use that little wooden roller just to make sure everything is really well laid out on your clay. Some places I think it was maybe lifted a little, and maybe that's why I got some bubbles, but I think it is the Kitten's Clear that is not a good fit, because on this other one, I use the HF9, and oh my goodness, I am in love with this technique and the look of it. So this one, I just left the glaze, I mean the clay raw, and I need to just go with the file and make it real smooth on the back. And I put the little feet, it's just a little flower. This is just alumina hydrate I have here. But I love how it looks. It looks casual and um, rustic at the same time, tropical. But I love the look of the contrast that gives the darker clay with the slip and the painting. I know some people were asking me about why don't you just paint it on the piece? What's the difference? Well, the difference is, for one thing, it's just the look. You can tell it's just a different, unique look that you get from monoprinting. Another big plus for me is that you're painting in reverse. So let's say if I wanted to paint this plate, instead of using the monoprinting, I would just start painting. Well, I would paint my outline of my, let's say this leaf, and then I would paint the inside. But I would have to be very careful not to go over my outlines, because then you would cover. When you're painting the reverse, you paint your outline, but then you can put the colors over your outline. You don't have to be as careful, because what you're gonna see is your outline first, then your other color, then the background color. And you can paint the whole thing with the background color, like the blue. I painted over all my whole design. And as opposed to if you were doing painting normally, you would have to paint around your design, so it's just a different technique. It's just a different feel. So anyways, when I saw this, I'm just in love. I can't stop touching it. My husband thinks it's funny that I really, really love this. And I think what I'm going to do is make a whole dinner set for me, for my family, using this technique. And I think I'm going to do all individually. It's going to look a little different because I'm going to do all tropical leaves and flowers and stuff. But I'm going to have a whole set. It's going to be just like this. Maybe I'll do instead of a round, I'll do the four corners plate that is a little rounded, but it's squarish rounded, I guess it's called. But it's gonna have this look here. Anyways, I love how using the HF9, no issues whatsoever. And this is the one that I have on the tutorial. Now this one, because it was the first one that I did, I do have a tutorial on using silk screen, how you can use a silk screen for the bird. They even have flowers, and you can get all kinds of silk screens. In fact, I got some more here that I'm gonna show you. I just got these from Amazon, and look how fun. They have the flamingo with some tropical leaves, the parrot or macaw. So I'm gonna be using these for the outlines, and then I can paint them. I'm gonna be using that for the monoprinting, and I'll be making videos. But look at this one, and I'll put the link. Of these on my description. These are all hummingbirds. Wouldn't that be cute? Because these are outlines, and then you can paint whatever color you want to make your bird, and your flowers you can paint over that. So you put your stencil first, do your outline, could be black or blue, dark blue, like I use dark blue. Turned out really nice. And then you just paint over that, and not having to be so careful. You can paint right over all the lines. So that's the plus of doing the monoprinting. You can have, like, look at the hibiscus. I love this. So I'll put the link, and I'll also be having a video, but I do have the paint along in the tutorial, making these same, but this time using a much easier way of doing the silk screen. If you don't like hand painting something, you can definitely do something like that using silk screens, even for the flowers, the leaves. And what's interesting too, because this one wasn't completely flat, if you're a hand builder, you can make something completely flat, and I made a little angle here for the foot. But here, when I trimmed, it wasn't completely flat. So when I wrapped the silk screen, not silk screen, the slip, my paper around, it created some creases on the design, and I think that adds more character to the piece. You can see some crease lines here. So I think that is really nice, just like in here. It almost looks like fabric, that was laid over. So anyways, these turned out really cute. And two more pieces that I'm very happy. I almost forgot. Look at this, how cute it turned out. That was the tray, also from the tutorial, that you can make any shape you want. I ended up adding just a coil and using clear glaze. This is Kitten's Clear. The clay is Iceman. But these are all Kiwi Underglazes. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Very cute. And my personal favorite is this one. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to part with this sea otter. I'm glad I decided to put the shells on top. But look at these Kiwi Underglazes. I mean, look at the colors. They're so pretty. Again, I didn't have all the colors. Some of the colors I needed to mix. Like I didn't have any brown underglazes. So I had to mix a few colors to get a brown shade. And not only a brown, but different shades of brown. So here's a different shade, as you can see, different than here. Uh, and then for the shells, they have the best pink, different shades of pink for their underglazes. I think it's just awesome. So it turned out really nice. I made it so that it looks like he's underwater on this part over here on the bottom. You can see how it's translucent, the water. It looks like, so he's just having a good old time on the water. And I used different aqua and blues in here. Turned out very pretty. I'm very happy with this. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Please like and subscribe and be on the lookout for this Saturday for my next Live with Anna, where I do another tutorial for you. Thanks again. See you Saturday. Bye bye.